Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai. We're in our Lawrence Welk set, and Emmett's been trying to pop the bubbles on the set.
Yes,
but that's going to be a little impossible to do.
I know.
And we have Teresa
Toigo.
I have to get used to pronouncing that.
Like
She's
you
been...
can remember two eagles.
Yeah.
Tuigo, okay,
Yeah.
Tuigo. Yeah, she's been joining us lately, and it's a delight to have her.
Fun.
And of course, affectionately, our aging rocker
Yes.
Emmett is on this show, and it's just the three of us today.
Yes.
Patty, our mascot's not here lately, and Patty, our hostess, is not here,
Yes.
and Pee
Pee-wee
Wee, our
the dog,
mascot,
yeah.
is not here, and Linda Brooks Curtis has had to leave, so it's just going to be the three of us.
Yes.
So. And that's the camera you look at if you want to say something. And Teresa brought these little stuffed animals because I collect stuffed animals, so I thought it'd be cool to
Yeah.
put them on the piano.
Oh, can I say hi to my friend Mark?
Sure.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah. And it's neat that these keys are working.
Yes.
So I'm really delighted. So I'll just do some playing while we're talking here. Let's do that Chicago song again. I like this song.
Yes. I've never heard it before
It's
now.
moving.
Yeah, Chicago, the group Chicago.
Oh, the group Chicago.
Yeah,
I've heard of the group, but I've never listened to
That
it.
is a song called, does anyone know what time it is? And then one of their other big hits was a song called The Beginnings. That was a pretty cool song, too. And I'm not a trumpet player, but they had this trumpet player screaming these high notes in the middle of that song. I was like, oh, man.
Oh.
My head was just hurting to listen to this guy.
You know, you were talking about singing.
Uh-huh.
I think one of the most beautiful voices was that guy in Journey. Do you remember him?
I've heard of Journey.
I know the group Journey, but...
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I've
what I
heard
was
of the
talking
group
about.
Journey. And they had a video game that I really liked in the arcade. It was in Missoula when I was like 18, 17, called Journey. And they would bounce up and down on their, guitars or their drums, and they had kind of little space adventures, and you had to save the individual band members from something or another. I can't remember, but it was a pretty cool video game.
A video game based on the Journey?
Yes.
Have you ever played Guitar Hero?
Nope, never have.
My brother-in-law built us.
Short version of Edelweiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the group Journey. I'm not really familiar with their stuff.
Yeah.
I know who they are. I've heard of
Uh-huh.
them, but it's impossible to
No,
know every group out there.
It
There's
is,
like
yeah.
so many out
Oh,
there.
I have a request.
Sure, if I know it.
Lean on me.
Oh, that's a good one. I haven't done that one in a while.
We'll have some.
Bill Withers.
Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on.
You know this song, Emmett?
No, I don't. Vaguely.
Oh, my brother, when we need a hand, we all need someone to lean on.
Vaguely.
Seclusion. Yeah, the African-American singer Bill Withers made that song famous. That was one of his biggest hits, Lean On Me.
Interesting.
In fact, that's the title song to my CD.
Uh-huh.
The name of my CD is called Lean On Me, Jeannie Marie. I just put the name Jeannie Marie on there as a play of words. The G and an E and the Re and Marie rhymes with
I didn't know you had a
Me.
CD for some reason. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I have a CD that's how it's called, Lean On Me, Jeannie Marie.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
song I just played, Lean On Me, is the title song.
Yeah.
You can go to bandcamp.com and
Uh-huh.
hear it, or maybe go to Morgan Rock if they've got any copies there.
Oh, I have a little poem.
Sure.
All right.
What's the name of the poem?
Well, Everywhere I Look.
That's the name of the poem?
Yeah, by Gracie Easley.
Well, I'll hear a little piece of it. Sure, why not?
Everywhere I look, I find some wondrous handwork of thine. Every single day I see some lovely thing you're giving me. My heart almost overflows at the sight of velvet rose, lazy fern and birds that sing. Lord, you give me everything. I don't know if you want me to go on.
Well, it's just a poem.
Yeah.
But getting back to Bill Withers, he left the world some great music. And also that song, Ain't No Sunshine
When She's
When
Gone.
She's Gone, that was one of his big hits too. Have you ever heard that
Only
song?
No, I never have.
You don't know it?
Nope.
Maybe
You might,
before
you might this middle part.
She's always going to she goes away.
Still don't recognize it?
Nope. Nope.
I'll do it again. Sad song.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't. Yeah.
Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Gordon Lightfoot does a lot of sad songs that are very beautiful, though. Like, he'll talk in the most beautiful way on his guitar. He'll sing on the guitar about being homeless, or, you know, being cold and being homeless, or being on a train. But the most beautiful guitar, da-da-dun, dun, da-da-dun, with the most beautiful voice, dun, dun, dun. It's really an odd combination. Sad lyrics with gorgeous guitar and gorgeous music, and it's almost romancing it, but it's like he lived that hard life, but it was like about trains and that kind of thing, or the homeless found a home on Sue Lee's floor. To this most beautiful, easy listening guitar.
Wasn't he in
Fascinating.
town recently?
A couple of years ago, and like I said, I wanted so badly to see him. I didn't have the $70 to go see him.
Do
I
you
was
know
so...
what are some of his songs?
Oh, well, Gordon Lightfoot, you know, Rainy Day People, you know, Rainy Day People always seem to know when you're feeling blue. Rainy Day People all know, and there's something, da-da-da, just love that. Or something about, and she said, la-da-da-da-da, there's something or another, and and I should know it, I've played it so many times. Something about a fish, a dolphin fish coming up, and or mermaid, and one flip of her tail, and then she swam back down, and she said, please, please, I'm on my way. There's something, and I wish I would remember it.
Well, you
more.
probably know it better than I do, so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's see.
Well, I want you two to make yourselves at home here in a cafe.
Yeah.
And,
I didn't care for the rise of the sinking of the Ms. Fitzgerald. You know, dun 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 dun, the Ms. Fitzgerald.
well, I don't know how to play those songs.
that's beautiful.
I didn't care for that song. I prefer his more beautiful songs. Or he did a tribute to Don Quixote. You know, dun 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 dun, Don Quixote or something. He's and something or another, and how a whole bunch of stuff, and how he's writing. And I really like Don Quixote or some of his other stuff, or stuff I can relate to. I know you're against drinking, but he's had some stuff with alcohol, and as long as like it's 7 a.m. in the morning and I still can't face the day. I'm on my second cup of coffee and I still can't face the day. I've been there. It's 9 a.m. in the morning on my second cup of coffee and I still can't face the day. My girlfriend's away from me. And if I can't stop this trembling hand for reaching for the phone, I'll be reaching for the bottle before this day is done. Yeah, I love that song, you know, but I've had it where I've been on my third cup of coffee or fourth cup of coffee, and I still can't face the day. I'm a huge coffee drinker.
Well, some people probably can't face their day without coffee.
I'm one of those
I
that
love
can't.
the good food store.
Yeah.
You can get
Yeah.
a cup for $1.
That's wonderful.
Well, a lot
And
of
they
places.
get a punch card.
Mhm.
Well, I just go to First Security Bank where I have my account. They have free
Oh
coffee.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
have
love
a
free
an
coffee.
account
Yeah,
there
they're
too.
really good coffee there. So.
I need my coffee. I just get the shakes without it. I'm not really the shake, but I need that energy in the day.
Well,
in
there's
the
a
morning.
lady named Stacy Bear that works at that bank, and she did the pilot to this cafe
Mhm.
over a year ago. Yeah. So it was kind of fun having her on.
Yeah.
On my first episode of Asaph Cafe, it was dark. The lights were dim. And but you couldn't see it on camera, so we couldn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But the show has hopefully grown a little bit over the
Yeah.
year and a half I've been doing it.
Well, I know I've been watching the cafe show, and there was,
Well, you can see the
Quite a few
evolution of the show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
You can
but
see.
I think I watched most of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a song. See if you guys know this one. Don't recognize it?
Nope.
Still don't know it good, huh?
Nope.
Here. Okay, you might know this part, right?
Afraid not.
Still don't know it.
Afraid not.
The theme to the Love Boat television
Oh,
show.
the Love Boat. Da, da,
I'll do it again.
da, 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 da,
Now you
the
recognize
Love
it.
Boat. I never watched the show. Yeah. The Love Boat. I never watched
What
it.
was that show with they had a family, and they were, there were 3 boys and 3 girls.
Oh, the Brady Bunch?
Brady
Oh, yeah.
Bunch.
Oh, yeah, I remember that show.
Never watched that either.
Oh,
It was
really?
right there
You
with
never
the
watched the
Love
Brady Bunch?
No, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that was a simpler time.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, you know, they had a lot of those old family shows like Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
Oh, I love.
And let's see, I've never learned that
I think I
song.
watched My Three Sons when I was a
black
kid. I
and
think I watched
My
that.
3 Sons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't
Or
know
Leave It
what
to
that
Beaver
song
or
is.
something, yeah.
Yeah, I've never really learned that song. Let's see. I'm gonna try it again.
Something Mathis.
Jerry Mathis,
Jerry
yeah.
Mathis.
I bet if I took time to practice that, I could probably figure it out. But yeah, they had a lot of those shows. My Three Sons,
Yeah.
Donna
Andy
Reed show.
Griffith.
Oh gosh, all these family shows. Let's
Yeah.
go back in time. There's a bunch of them. Some were serious and some were goofy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what else. Of that era. I mentioned Donna Reed. Her show went something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do that, but that was a kind of a fun, simple show too.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make shows like that anymore as far as family, shows
Yeah.
that way. Usually the shows that are out there now are pretty bad.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
I talk about family shows.
Well, there's some fun shows.
I think the ultimate father would probably be Ward Cleaver.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
one of them, and Andy Griffith.
And Jerry
too.
was so. I mean, Beaver was always screwing up, and his
Mm.
brother was, oh, Beav.
Yeah, yeah. But that must
And
have
the
been.
mother, and she.
They must
was
have had a
Corky-
lot of fun.
And Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Something like that.
Mm.
I don't know. I could probably figure it out if I learned it.
Yeah. If you like innocent cartoons or anything, you know, I love Sprout TV. That's on 103 if you get Charter. I love their shows like Caillou, Poppycat, and that kind of thing. They took off Thomas the Tank Engine and they took off the Wiggles. I'm very
Thomas
upset.
the Train.
Yeah, Thomas the Train. They took off Thomas the Train.
Was that one of your favorite cartoons?
Yes.
Yes.
It was about, it's for little kid like 2 and 3.
Well, I understand that, yeah.
Put upon.
But I just loved it. It was about this island of Soda or somewhere where there was this tank engine named Thomas. He was afraid, and he had some other friends and Percy, and there was always, it was made by a reverend actually in England, Reverend Audrey, and there was this person, the railroad conductor owner named Sir Topham Hatt.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was really nice, and Sir Topham Hatt would give the engine specials and jobs to do, and Thomas the Tank Engine wanted to be really useful, but he would always screw up somehow. Maybe he wanted a job, someone else did, or one of the other engines wanted a job, and it's like, Thomas, Sir Topham Hatt would say, you have caused confusion and delay. Percy is late for this. They were supposed to pick up the brass band, and Thomas felt terrible. He was like, sir, I want to make this right. I want to be really useful. Instead of just playing around, can I pick up the brass band or can I have Percy? Then I'll get the freight cars. That's very good, Thomas, but you're still late. I can do it, sir. And Sir Topham Hatt always forgave Thomas. He knew he was really trying his best. I liked it. Just the nice morals and the nice messages. It was great, about trying your best.
How long was that cartoon? It was like a half hour or an hour?
It was like 10 minutes
really?
each. It's a tiny cartoon, but they took it off the air, and I just loved that, and I loved... The Wiggles was a 10-minute live action show from Australia of nicest, happiest 10 minutes on TV. Basically, they just did songs like, let's go, we're riding in the big red car, let's go, we're riding in the car, dun 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 dun, and they'd have little skits, and someone was working on something, or one time, I think it was Anthony was working on a solution to turn you into a duck drink. Oh, and it was a cup of tea. What, it's a solution to turn you into a duck. Uh-oh. And one of them did. He drank it, and he didn't know it was a solution to turn you into a duck. And he did.
Oh.
So they had to make this other solution. I know what to do. I knew what to do. There's something to cure you. Okay, let's take a little cup of this. And he turned into a fish. I mean, it was surreal. And we had, Captain Feather.
I don't know this cartoon.
It wasn't a cartoon. It was live action. With actual, not actors, but
was it like
like
Shrek? How they just
No, there wasn't any cartoons in it at all.
Okay.
Actually, it was just all live action. It was from Australia. Yeah.
Do you remember that movie with that fish that had glasses?
The Incredible Mr. Limpet?
Yes.
With Don Knotts?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah. I guess you could Google up the Wiggles, but they cut it out from Sprout TV. I was so disappointed because I loved their numbers. I've got a lot of their songs. I got a CD of theirs, taking off the Wiggles, some of the Wiggles, and it's just a lot of fun. Emma with the bow in her hair, they would just be dancing around with them. It's kind of, that's it, skit. So what kind of bow shall I wear today? Bow tiffle, bows, bow. Emma is the girl with the bow in her hair. She, saved the environment. She needed a spray, but to save the environment, she went the other way. That's why she wears a bow to this day. And they were just dancing around bow tiffle, bow.
No, I'm afraid I don't think I know those.
What about Teletubbies?
I don't know them either. The cartoons I listened to when I was a kid. You remember the Perils of Penelope Pitstop?
No.
Boy, that's a tough one to say. Basically, Penelope was this teenager. She was like really wealthy. She had this ward that was taking care of her. But the ward was really the alter ego, was the bad guy. He put this mask on. They had this music. And so whenever he took his mask off, he was nice to her. But he'd try to offer and get her fortune. Well, never mind. I guess nobody knows that. Yeah, it was called the Perils of Penelope Pitstop.
Fascinating.
Yes,
Boy, that's a tough thing. All those letter P's on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Perils of Penelope Pitstop.
I had a little
was the name of
doll named Penelope.
that. Well, anyway, it was just a cartoon.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of other cartoons in the 70s, like the Archies.
Oh, yeah, I
think
remember
anybody
the
remember that. Or, God, what are the characters on the Archies? Archie, Veronica, Betty,
Yeah.
Jughead, his best friend,
Yeah.
and Reggie, the bad guy, and then the
Yeah.
principal, Mr. What was his name?
Yeah,
Willoughby, Mr.
yeah,
Willoughby.
yeah.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I guess nobody knows that one. So that was kind of an old cartoon from the past.
Yeah, I remember that. They said in the 70s. I liked it.
Yeah,
I like
and there
watching
were
a lot.
some other ones like the original Spider-Man.
I remember that. I liked that. I like that Spider-Man cartoon better than these new spin-off Spider-Mans. Yeah, much better. I remember that. I liked that a lot.
Ah.
I loved it.
You remember that?
Yeah. One time
Never mind.
Spider-Man even went to another dimension to do something, some sort of superhero, but he was trapped in another dimension. It was
Okay.
fascinating.
Well, this was just the original. I mean, this is before
that
they
was
got
the
fancy.
original.
The
Yeah.
original.
Yeah, that was in the original cartoon. One of the it went to another dimension.
I'm gonna
yeah.
try it again, see if I can get that right. It's been a while. Something like that, you know.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, they had some fun cartoons when I was growing up. Here's one that people probably won't remember. There was a cartoon called Tom Foolery.
Never heard of it.
Remember that?
Yeah, it was just this simple cartoon about tomfoolery. And there were some other cartoons that people probably won't remember, like Fearless Fly. Do you remember?
I don't
Yes.
remember. You've told me about it. Yeah, it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, this was at the beginning. It was just this fly with a cape,
Uh-huh.
and he wore these big glasses, and
Yeah.
his glasses were the secret to his power. So at the beginning of the cartoon, a fly swatter won't stop him. This fly swatter go, he'd stand there and go
Yeah.
right through him. Insecticide will stop him. So they had these big human hands spraying this big can of
Yeah.
insecticide. He'd go and blow the insecticide away.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know. People probably won't remember
Yeah.
Fearless Fly. But the secret to his power was his glasses. So like
Yeah.
clockwork, the bad guys would just reach over and take his glasses off. He'd be weak.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. I hate
Silly
flies.
cartoon, but
Yeah.
no, it was
Yeah,
just a
I know,
cute
I know,
little... Oh, well. And
Yeah.
of course there's Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. On Sprout TV, one of my favorite shows is called Caillou. It's kind of a hard one to pronounce. I think it was made in France and then picked up in Canada. It's about a 4-year-old. It's supposedly labeled under educational. I think it's just a sweet cartoon. For some reason, he's 4 years old, but he's bald. He's not sick, but he's just, the theme is, I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more. I like exploring. I'm Caillou. Each day is something new. I'll share it all with you. I'm Caillou. And he just has, friends at play school and things going with mommy and daddy and his trips with his grandma, maybe to the senior citizen center or to rest home, and your trips with grandma. And it's the sweetest cartoon in the world. I don't know his parents' names except for mommy and daddy. And he's
Did that come out in the 70s or later?
No.
later, around 80s or 90s.
Well,
maybe the
yeah,
90s,
actually
the 90s.
starting... If you want to get
It was the
technical,
90s.
starting like in the 50s or 60s, they had those simple things like Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
Yeah. His
And
sister Rosie is
Kugler,
just
Fran,
a
and
year and
Ollie
a half.
were fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, although you probably don't know those.
Yeah, I
items
don't.
before your
I
time.
Caillou's just adorable. I love children and just adorable. He just in the sweetest, most loving cartoons. Some episodes are better than others. I didn't care when Caillou went to the subway. That I didn't like that. Or Caillou learns to cross the street. That kind of bored me. Or make up his own game or whatever. But some episodes are just adorable. Let's see. One of my favorite. Oh, my favorite one was where the washing machine got broken. I love washers and dryers, so they had someone to fix the washing machine. Fascinating. That was
the thing.
adorable.
I don't know that one. That's a theme to Captain Kangaroo. You probably won't remember that.
I do vaguely
I
remember
always
Captain
wanted
Kangaroo.
him to be
Yes.
my dad. And then I wanted
was the
Miss
theme
Julie
song.
to be my mom.
Oh, well, I guess there's certain characters on television. Everybody wanted them to be their parent or brother
Not
or
that I
something.
don't love my mom.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. I think I would have liked to have had Andy Griffith as a father.
And Aunt B
Yeah.
as an aunt.
But anyway, one of my favorite episodes of the Andy Griffith Show is the one where Ron Howard, Opie,
Yes.
he wanted to
Opie
take
Taylor.
piano lessons. At first, I don't know if you ever saw that one. He wanted to take piano lessons until this famous football player came through Mayberry and was giving the kids pointers on football. And all of a sudden, Opie didn't want to play the piano anymore. He wanted to get out there with his friends and play football and stuff. And so it kind of made Andy a little ticked off at his son after they spent all the money to get this piano and stuff. And he goes to his son and says, "You're going to learn how to play this piano? you're going to take piano lessons, and that's the end of it. So Opie's like taking piano lessons.
Yeah.
So what he does, he comes up with this plan where one of his friends knew how to play the piano, and Aunt Bee was like in the kitchen cooking. She never like notices anything. So Opie goes out to the football game. His son is sitting in the Taylor house playing the piano, and Aunt Bee thinks it's Opie playing the piano. It was really Opie's friend who already knew how to play. It was really funny.
Remember when she would bring the food to the jail?
Yeah.
That was sweet.
And so Opie gets caught, right? So he gets in trouble with his father for sneaking off to the football game and having this kid pretend that it was Opie playing in the household. It's just a cute little episode.
And what was that town that they was?
Mayberry.
Big town.
Oh, Raleigh, the big town.
And they're real towns.
Yeah, and so at the end of the episode, the football coach comes over to the Taylor home, and he sees that piano. He sits there and starts playing Chopin. So that convinces... Yeah, so the coach is playing Chopin, so that convinces Sheriff Taylor to let his son play football and take piano lessons. Just a cute little episode.
Yeah.
That was such a fun show, the Andy Griffith show.
I loved it.
And
you can still see it now.
Yeah, that's a great legacy that Andy Griffith left the world. That show.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
No, that show, the Andy Griffith show.
Yeah.
That's a great legacy he left. And I want to do that with my show. If I get to do this new Lawrence Welk show, I hope to leave a legacy of something clean like
exactly.
that.
There's a lot of those shows, clean shows. Not like what you're talking about, but it's like Me TV. It's 194 on cable.
Yeah, they're playing the old stuff.
Yeah, the old stuff, and even the old Star Trek, and even, well, there's one show I didn't like. You know, I didn't love it, and I didn't hate it. It completely bored me. It was called MASH. Maybe you guys liked it better than I did. It was supposed to be a comedy, wasn't it?
It was. And, I didn't have a problem with MASH. Now, my birth mom, she didn't care for that show.
Yeah.
And, well, probably because she was married to my father, who did 30 years in the military.
Yeah, it just, I didn't understand the humor. I never laughed. I didn't hate it, and I didn't love it. I wondered if it was a comedy, because none of the jokes made me laugh. Like, Klinger always trying to get out of the military by acting goofy. Like, and they all sit around playing cards.
And he always had a stuffed animal.
Yeah. Well, I never laughed. I like silly stuff like The Gong Show or Gilligan's Island.
Oh, that was a silly show.
Oh,
Funny, but But getting back to MASH real quick, I'm surprised that show even made it on television. Because the pilot, the MASH, the movie that introduced the series, I found it very offensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I never saw it.
Because I know that they had to make that believable. And I remember when I saw that, because they didn't have Alan Alda, there was Elliot Gould, and those really famous actors in the past. And they referred to this African-American fella, Spear Chucker, on the show.
No.
That did not sit well with me.
No.
And, I know they had to go back to that time period.
Yeah.
And after that movie was released, I'm surprised a series was made from that, because it seems like they would have lost their audience with that original movie.
Yeah, really.
But for some reason, it worked, that movie.
Yeah.
And then when Alan Alda came along, they made it a comedy. And that was good writing to do it, make it comedy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think it would have worked.
No.
Here's the theme song.
Oh, yes. Gilligan's Island is hilarious.
The Professor, Marianne, Ginger.
Yeah.
I can't remember that other couple.
Yeah.
That's the theme to MASH. But anyway, I'm surprised that that series even got made.
Yeah.
You would have thought that MASH the movie would have lost their audience, but obviously it didn't.
Yeah.
And then it was wise and brilliant writing to make that series a comedy instead of
And
serious
I
like the
liked
movie.
how they helped the Asian people.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And getting Alan Alda, I think it was the right person to make that show work. I don't think that show would have worked without that character. And that's not to take away from the other actors on there, like Loretta Swit and all the rest of them. But
Hot Lips.
Yeah, but no, Alan Alda, Hawkeye, that character had to be there to make that work as far as the comedy.
Dr. Pierce.
Yeah, Dr. Pierce, yeah. And I liked it. Do you remember After MASH, the television series?
No, I never even heard of it.
Yeah, when MASH ended, they had one more show based on MASH called After MASH.
I know there was a sequel movie.
No, I'm talking about a television series, and I liked it.
Oh, interesting.
It was centered around Colonel Potter
Uh-huh.
and Klinger's character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what their lives were like
Uh-huh.
after the Korean War when they went home.
Yeah.
It didn't last very long, but I sure enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Klinger gets married in this series. He married the Asian lady from Korea.
Oh, I do remember that.
And so it was, he took this job at this hospital, and they weren't respecting him at all because he was in the MASH unit and stuff. They were just making his life miserable. And Colonel Potter gets reunited with Mrs. Potter, and so they had to deal with the younger people in their neighborhood and post-war vets and things like that. And I liked it. It was fun watching these people as they were physically older and what their lives were like after the MASH series. But unfortunately, it only lasted probably like less than half a season.
But there were a lot of seasons.
But it was
of
fun
that.
to watch that. It was called After MASH. You can look it up on the computer. It was just Colonel Potter and Jamie Farr's character, Klinger. And every once in a while, Radar would show up. He was physically older. He'd like come from where he lived and visit Colonel Potter. And also there was another spin-off from MASH, Trapper John M.D. Do you remember that?
I've heard of it and never watched it.
With the actor Pernell Roberts, he plays an older Trapper John instead of Wayne Rogers, who played in the series with Alan Alda. And that was kind of successful. Trapper John becomes a surgeon at the hospital after the Korean War.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about these shows that have passed, when they get physically older, they're working with younger people, like Andy Griffith when he was Matlock. And, you know, he had all the younger people. So Pernell Roberts was doing the same thing, Trapper John's character. And they hardly mention Hawkeye at all in the Aftermath series, so maybe that character was just retired.
Yeah.
They didn't mention Major Houlihan or Frank Burns' character, any of those characters. It was mostly just Colonel Potter and...
That was a fun, MASH was a fun show.
It was. I could deal with it. It wasn't one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, same here.
Except
I watch
for
it.
when
Kinda
they
bored me.
when everything got down and they had to go to surgery, that was kind of hard to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would imagine if you were in the military and you had to deal with fixing folks just to send them back out there to get hurt again.
Oh,
and come
yeah,
back.
definitely,
And
yeah.
I guess that could wear on your emotional nerves, I would think. You know? Let's see. Here's a song for you. Tell me if you know this one. Don't know it?
No, I don't.
I'll stop right there. That's called When a Man Loves a Woman.
Oh, yeah,
Percy
yeah.
Sledge. Now, do you recognize it?
Yeah,
And they had a show about. They had a movie.
Well, I'm sure they did. They have a lot of movies or shows.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that was written by Kool and the Gang for some reason.
Oh, no, I remember Kool and the Gang, but no, that was Percy Sledge.
Yeah, I never listened to Kool and the Gang myself, even as a kid. I just,
They had a song, something like they called Too Hot. It went something like this.
What a name. Kool and the Gang. Strange name.
K-O-L.
Yeah, Kool and the... What a strange name.
Something like that. I don't know how to play that, but it was something like that. But there was a song called Too Hot. And they were, well, I'm not going to say a one-hit wonder. They had some hits out, and then they just kind of faded like most groups. I'm sure they're probably doing concerts if they're still together, but in their heyday, they were on TV all the time.
Do you remember Grease and Saturday Night Fever?
Ugh.
I
the
do,
disco
but
era.
yeah, I wasn't a fan of the disco
No
era.
way, yeah, no way.
I mean,
had
the
a
only
little moment.
here's one song from the disco era. See if you remember it.
I never listened to disco myself.
Recognize it?
Nope.
Yes, but I can't think of the name, the title.
Never mind. That's a song called "The Radio."
Yes.
Donna Summer.
Uh-huh.
She's about the
Donna
only person I ever
Summer.
liked.
Oh,
Her and Gloria
yeah, her
Gaynor. That
hair.
song that goes like this. You know it?
Afraid not. Oh yeah, I'll survive. I will survive, or something like this.
Never give up.
Yeah, I'll survive. Yeah. Never cared for.
I
Oh, I'm
think if
sitting
you
there
were a
playing
woman,
that.
you would appreciate
But
it.
anyway, yeah, that disco era just
Yeah.
it came
It
and
was a
went.
flash.
It was a
Yeah.
flash in the pan.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
And you know,
Just dead.
like I said, I wasn't really a big fan of disco.
No
There was
way.
only a handful of songs I liked in that era, like "I'll Survive," Gloria
The
Gaynor.
Bee Gees.
On well, it wasn't.
No way. No.
I
And,
only like Saturday Night
um,
Fever.
And let's see what else. Okay, there was Gloria Gaynor, "I'll Survive," Donna Summer on the radio, and one of my favorites was "Funky Town." It went something like this.
Oh yeah, funky town, funky town. I didn't even know it was disco.
I like that song, but the rest of them, you can have it.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like this. Even as if I was a grown up in the '70s, I never would have gone to a discotheque. No
Yeah,
way.
and the Bee
No way.
Gees.
Oh yeah, the Bee Gees. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
give me
You had to
shivers.
get a cup of coffee after watching
Oh,
the Bee
yeah,
Gees,
yeah.
you know,
Well, it
Hey,
and
sounded
stop
like
shaking.
they had too much coffee.
Yeah, or something.
Well, no, I'm not picking on the Bee Gees. They were a
No,
fine
yeah,
group, but
yeah.
that just was not my thing.
No, yeah, yeah.
Now I admit there was one thing that what is that middle, the Gibb brother, the one with the mustache and beard, when he was
Yeah.
older, he sang that song not Staying Alive, it was one of his Jive Talking.
Jive talking.
I saw him, you know, he's older now, and I saw him on a talk show recently
still
singing that.
alive?
Yeah. And he
His
was singing that
brother's died.
Jive Talking. And I was impressed with that. I did like that.
Yeah.
But it was a modern version of it.
Uh-huh.
Not that disco.
Yeah.
That same beat that
Oh, it drives
just,
me crazy. Yeah.
you want to go get a Tylenol after
I know,
listening to that.
I know,
Gee
yeah.
whiz. No, but that was just not my thing.
Yeah.
Disco era, and I'm probably not gonna get a endorsement fan club for John Travolta. His movies were like, ugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't even
love
want to
him,
listen.
Michael.
The only thing I ever liked John Travolta in as a young man was Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh, yes.
He was funny in that.
He sure was.
And I even had heard in interviews with him that after doing all those
Saturday Night Fever type
disco
of things,
stuff, he thought his career was finished because he thought he had gotten typecast.
And
And
he-
I'm glad he was able to break through
And
that.
he's a good friend of Oprah.
Well, I'm glad he was able to break through that
Yeah,
disco
yeah.
thing and do some decent stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
John
yeah.
Travolta is a fine actor, and he does great films now, not
Uh-huh.
those silly.
Yeah.
Ugh. Beauty school dropout.
Remember that? Is that
No,
Grease?
that's
That-
that's just not my thing.
Yeah.
It's just like those
Love that musical.
Well, some people it works for. And look, I like Olivia Newton-John. I
Yeah.
think she's a fine singer. You know, sometimes you can have great singers that just do silly roles,
Yeah.
like Elvis.
No, Elvis and they.
Oh, just when I look at those Elvis movies, I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh!
I love him.
Yeah,
I love him.
even Elvis. I mean, on easy listening, I'll just turn it off and go to another channel.
No, I like his singing. I'm talking
you
about
like
those.
his
I'm talking about
movies.
those movies. Oh God, and
Yeah.
like there's some other movies that were just lame as
It
far
was
as I'm
fun.
concerned.
Viva Las Vegas.
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't pay 10 cents to see that.
Never even heard of it.
We
I've
used
never
to-
heard of it.
We used to sell refund bottles and get our allowance and go see Beatles movies mostly.
The only movie I ever liked Elvis in was the first one he ever made called Love Me Tender. It was a black and white film. Basically, his older brother went off to war, and they thought he was killed in the war, so the character of Elvis, the younger brother, marries the fiancée to his older brother, and then just when they get married, the older brother comes back.
I'm going to have to excuse myself again.
That's okay. And I thought that was... You know, because a lot of it was, a lot of his movies, I think they were just capitalizing on his records and his good looks. Because Elvis was very handsome, you know. And he was a great singer, no question about that. They should have just put him in serious movies.
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, just briefly, if I want to mention, on this, on the last show, and then today, if you people are in the audience are wondering, I did have hand surgery. I'm not going to get into gory details, but it's an a cyst on my hand. It's due to a thing called Dupuytren's disease. And I'm not going to get into a bunch of personal stuff, but I did have hand surgery. I'm getting through it by the Lord's grace. I'm in physical therapy at home and that kind of stuff. So it was a big surgery, but if you're wondering what happened to my hand, kind of hurts a little bit, you know, but by the Lord's grace, got through it, and but that's pretty much why, if you're wondering why my hand is bandaged up.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that. Like I mentioned, Jimmy Fallon's doing the Tonight Show with that thing on his finger. That little cast.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, one movie
song.
I never saw the movie, but have you ever heard the movie with the same name, and it was the same song they played on the radio in the 70s 100 times a day, Like a Rhinestone Cowboy?
Oh, I remember that. Let me play that one.
Yeah.
And that'll probably be the last song.
Or was it not a good movie? I never even saw it and I never cared for the song.
You recognize it? It's such a cool song.
Yeah. You liked it Like a Rhinestone Cowboy?
It's alright.
I didn't care for it. Maybe because they overplayed it to death in the 70s. Every time you turned on the radio, it was this song. Yep. Think about a rodeo. A rhinestone cowboy, yep. Think about a rodeo.
Something like that. And I used to watch the Glenn Campbell show when I was a little boy growing up. You know, he had his own variety show at one time. And what was interesting about him, he had perfect hair. They called him the man with perfect hair. It was always neatly combed.
Yeah.
And he was a fine singer and played the guitar on his own show. It was similar to Carol Burnett show. It was like a variety show called the Glenn Campbell. Hi, I'm Glenn Campbell. He'd always do that at the beginning. It was a fun show to watch.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't think he's doing much singing anymore these days now.
Yeah.
I think he's physically older and probably has some health issues these days.
Yeah.
As what's going to happen to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Which is sad. You know, you can only stay on top or stay young for so long.
Yeah, I know. Notice that. Yeah.
And like, my birthday's coming up this month.
Happy birthday.
Like, I'm going to be 57.
Wow.
Can you believe it? And there's a lot of things that I can't do quite as well as I once could. Because I used to run track. Boy, I miss those days. At 57 years old, you're not going to be running track.
Yeah, I'll be 48 in December, you know. So
happy birthday to you.
Thanks, yeah.
Yeah, they used to call me Steve Austin. You remember the $6 Million Man?
Yes.
Yeah, how fast he was. That was my nickname when I ran track, was Steve Austin.
Cool.
They used to call me Steve Austin. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I could run faster than anybody in the whole block. And I took it in high school to a track. And I'm not saying I would have been no Olympic champion or anything, but I wish I could have got the chance to train in my time. Maybe I would have made a professional college team or something, but I went to music school instead and just kind of let that go.
Yeah.
We're talking about track. You're getting physically older.
I was in track.
Yeah, I ran track. I did the 880 to 440 cross country and 50-yard dash.
That's good.
I was always the last one in, but there always has to be someone to be the last one in.
Well, you know, you have to really train well when you run track. You have to do it right.
Oh, I trained.
And some people are just gifted at that.
We did the corporate games. Yeah.
But yeah, I was telling Emmett my nickname was Steve Austin, based on the $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never cared for that show as a kid either. I thought it was
I
kinda,
did.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a big Lee Majors fan.
Wow.
I thought that was the best show on
Wow, huh.
television growing up. And in fact, when I was in high school, they designed the Steve Austin outfit for me. You remember at the beginning when he would have those electrodes hooked up and he's running on
Yes,
that?
yes.
Oh, no, yes.
Yeah, well, I had a costume design where they had these little electrode things with a sweatsuit.
Fun.
And I went to school that whole day wearing that outfit.
Cool.
As Steve Austin. Which was perfect because that was my nickname. They
What's
called
that
me
little pin you have on?
Steve Austin. It just says Jesus first.
Oh, wonderful.
I got it
And
from
a peace
the
sign?
no, Jesus first.
Oh,
I got it from the Thomas Road Baptist Church in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Falwell Ministries, Jerry Falwell.
yes.
They sent me this pin a long time ago.
Good.
And that's where I got it from. And of course, Jerry Falwell is gone now. His son Jonathan is now preaching, and he's quite good.
Well, I'm not wearing my black like Johnny Cash because I have hope for the world.
Wow.
So,
There was a purpose for him wearing that, but Johnny Cash was a fine singer. And my mom was a big fan of Johnny Cash.
Yeah, the name is my mom. Or anyway, yeah, Social Distortion. Have you ever heard Ring of Fire? It's a burning.
Yeah, I'll play that for
Yeah,
for you.
Social Distortion made an excellent version.
Well,
of
I
Ring
don't know
of
about
Fire.
that, but I'll play
They're
for
a
you.
punk band. They were made an excellent, burning, fantastic. I just love that. Yeah, it's a very good song.
I'll play for you.
Thanks.
did you ever do karaoke?
I have at my home, like with friends over, and I always change the words to be about dryers and washers, you know.
You can play anything. Into a
Fascinating dryer. I spun in a fascinating dryer, and I spin. Inside the dryer. That's how I'd change it if I were doing karaoke, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but Johnny Cash was a great singer.
Yeah.
They don't make singers like him
No, they
anymore.
don't.
Except
He had his
for
own show
Willie.
too. Johnny Cash music show. It was
Oh.
pretty good actually. I liked it.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it was probably on the 70s. It's probably on YouTube. And he always had the top entertainers like Louis Armstrong
Yeah.
and all those folks up in
What's
there.
it called? Johnny Cash
The Johnny Cash
Show.
show.
Yeah. You
It
know,
was quite
it was
good.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very good. He had Al Hurt, famous trumpeter of the 60s, and all those people appeared on the Johnny Cash show.
Yeah.
It's
I
fun to
had a
watch.
whole bunch of old TV guides from the 70s. You know, the miniature TV guides you could get for 50 cents. Or, and they got thrown out. I wish I could have saved them. They had all those TV memories from the 70s, like what we've been talking about. And they had little captions, you know, MASH, or this Happy Days, or the Dick Van Dyke Show. And the caption, this does this, and just, and, you know, flip it over. What's on? It's like 6 o'clock, Dick Van Dyke, or this, or okay. Or the, you know, where you're talking about your DVDs. Okay, this is all interesting. And you'd flip through the TV guide like for 50 cents or 35 cents in the 70s. Flip this, so, you know, see what's on. What's on tonight? Oh, I think I'll watch this tonight. Or Rats. This is opposite another show. When you only had a few channels. Rats.
Okay.
This is opposite another show. What am I going to watch? And that you couldn't DVR it or record one thing and watch another. So it's like, even Mad Magazine had a
I remember
funny
Mad
Magazine.
yes.
Magazine.
I used to get
They used
that.
to, you know, one of my favorite Mad Magazine comics was the one when they picked on the $6 Million Man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was so
yeah.
funny.
That's the only magazine I'd ever buy.
Well, anyway, they captured one of the guys from Steve Austin's organization. I think it was Dr. Rudy Wells. You know, they were trying to get the secret to the bionics, how he made the bionic parts. And to make him talk, they shoved these McDonald's Big Macs down his throat. We're going to make you keep eating these Big Macs until you talk.
Yeah.
Talk!
Hilarious.
It was just funny, but
Yeah.
that was Mad Magazine.
Speaking of TV Guide, I remember on the Seinfeld show where Jerry's dad collected TV guides, and then Kramer.
You
did
recognize that?
No.
Let me do it.
Afraid I'm not.
That's the theme to Seinfeld.
Oh, I never liked Seinfeld.
He's got
I
a
never
he's got a
liked
show.
Seinfeld.
He's got a show now called Hot Shots where he drives around in all these cars and he picks up an entertainer and they go have coffee. So it's called Hot Shots.
One last song and we're gonna call it a night. See if any of you know this.
All right. Gone with the Wind.
There you go.
Oh.
I knew that one.
I'll stop right there. I brought that up because we were talking about Carol Burnett and
Yes.
they did their version of Gone with the Wind called Went with the Wind and she came out with these curtain rods.
Yeah.
Play Scarlett
Yes,
O'Hara.
yes.
That was the funniest skit I ever saw.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that skit?
No, I never did.
I brought it here. I can probably hook it up on the computer and show it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss the old TV guides. Now you can just flip on your remote and see what's coming up. But I miss the old TV guides. Something you'd see and flip through and they had the interviews. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's time to make acknowledgments. The whole hour has gone by already. Teresa here, and I am Asaph Adonai, your host, and we have our aging rocker Emmett here. That's a fun,
Remember, I'm a
affectionate title.
hippie. I'm proud.
Well, that's fine.
I,
Thanks for joining me, talking about everything from Liberace to these stuffed animals.
Yes.
Thanks for having on there, and we talked about Carol Burnett on the other show.
Yes.
And Gone with the Wind, Went with the Wind. That's a funny skit. I have to show it to you.
Sure.
It's just outrageous. Have you seen it?
No.
Went with the Wind, W-E-N-T, Went with the Wind.
Interesting.
Yeah, Carol Burnett's playing Scarlett O'Hara, and she had curtain rods.
Oh, I
real
didn't
curtain
see
rods
that.
as part of the dress.
yeah.
Just the funniest skit ever.
Amazing.
I ain't birthing no babies.
Yeah. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being part of Asaph Cafe, and here's our guest, Teresa and Emmett.
Yeah.
So until our next show, Maranatha.
Spinning dryer.
You guys make yourself at home.
Alright. The spinning dryer, I like to spin inside the dryer.